Good evening and welcome to the Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, with just 4 days left for the budget session to get over, the WAQF Amendment Bill will be tabled in Parliament tomorrow at noon. After the question hour, the WAQF Amendment Bill will be tabled, and while the government has been saying that the much-needed reform has in fact to be finally brought into Parliament, opposition has been up in arms, calling it unconstitutional. The trailer of what can be expected tomorrow was seen during the BAC meeting. Opposition members of Parliament staged a walkout from the Business Advisory Committee meeting earlier. Now, they have also branded the bill as unconstitutional and alleged that this will undermine the secular principles of the country. Listen in to what they have to say.
The opposition parties have walked out in the middle of the BAC meeting in protest because the government is simply bulldozing its agenda and not listening to the views of the opposition party. We have asked for a comprehensive discussion on the WAQF Amendment Act.
पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो वक्फ के नाम के ऊपर जीतकर वो मुसलमान के वोट से जीत कर के आ रही हैं, याद रख लें अच्छी तरह से, इतिहास माफ नहीं करेगा, चाहे वो चंद्रबाबू नायडू साहब हो, चाहे वो जयंत चौधरी साहब हो, चाहे वो नीतीश कुमार जी हो या चिराग पासवान जी हो, उनको इस बात को तय करना पड़ेगा कि मुसलमान कभी माफ नहीं करेगा।
क्योंकि ये हमारे लिए एक इबादत है, ये नमाज की तरह नहीं और इबादत है ये। अगर आप हमारी मस्जिदों को, दरगाहों को, उससे अगर आप हमको महरूम कर रहे हैं तो फिर जाहिर है ये तो हमारे लिए बड़ा इमोशनल और बड़ी तकलीफदेह बात रहेगी। तो ये समझ नहीं रहे हैं, ना नीतीश कुमार समझ रहे हैं, ना चंद्रबाबू नायडू समझ रहे हैं, तो ठीक है, इनको जनता समझा देगी। फिर
वक्फ बोर्ड के खिलाफ हैं हम लोग, इसलिए खिलाफ हैं क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी हर जगह हस्तक्षेप करना चाहती है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी हर जगह अपना कंट्रोल चाहती है।
On the other hand, the BJP has been calling the move transformative and a much-needed reform. Listen in to what they have to say.
We had a Business Advisory Committee meeting for Lok Sabha. I had proposed before the committee that tomorrow on 2nd April, we are bringing the WAQF Amendment Bill. And for that, we have to allocate time for discussion.
नहीं, ये तो पहले ही टेबल हो चुका है, जेपीसी से वापस आया है। ये जो मिसलीड कर रहे हैं, तो ये किसी का प्रॉपर्टी हम वापस लेने का बात नहीं किया है, इधर माइनॉरिटी और मेजॉरिटी का नहीं, सिर्फ सबको न्याय देने के लिए है।
कांग्रेस हो, समाजवादी पार्टी हो, ओवैसी हो, टीएमसी हो या डीएमके हो, विपक्ष के लोग तो केवल अपीजमेंट की पॉलिटिक्स में केवल मुस्लिम्स को वोट बैंक समझते हैं। तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति में ये लोग उस ऑल इंडिया मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ बोर्ड के साथ खड़े हैं। शुरू से वो तय कर चुके हैं कि हमें इस बिल का विरोध करना है।
And of course, the very fact that ahead of this particular meeting, we are seeing that there are multiple meetings and gatherings that are to take place ahead of the bill being tabled in Parliament, while the India bloc leaders are meeting soon to discuss the strategy on WAQF Amendment Bill issue. We've seen Congress also calling a meeting of its MPs at 8 p.m. On the other hand, the BJP has issued a 3-line whip to its Lok Sabha members of Parliament to be present in the House tomorrow. But what really does this mean as far as the numbers are concerned? Because the big WAQF test is tomorrow. How are the numbers really stacked up? This is as far as the NDA is concerned. The majority mark is, of course, 272. For the bill are 293, with all the NDA partners, in fact, including the JDU and the TDP, along with JDS, Apna Dal, NCP, Shiv Sena, as well as LJP, RB, as well as RLD, AJSU and SKM, voting alongside the BJP. Vacant, of course, is 1 seat. Unsure is 13. But against the bill also are 236 MPs. The Congress, Samajwadi Party, TMC, DMK, CPI, CPM, NCP, SP, as well as AIMIM, AAP, RJD and JMM will be voting against this particular WAQF bill. Let's quickly take this across to our reporters joining us live. We have Pragya joining us from the Parliament House. We also have Sabyasachi joining us. Pragya, coming to you first as far as this particular vote is concerned, the opposition strategy, what is it going to be? We've seen how there have been disruptions when important bills like the Women's Reservation Bill was brought in the past. There were attempts to tear up the bill, so on and so forth. What are we looking at in terms of the opposition strategy, given that this is a very, very important bill, politically speaking?
Well, Madhav, India bloc is meeting right now. In some time, the meeting will begin, and this is where the strategy will be drawn. Now, Congress is saying that they would want to participate in the debate, and so does other opposition party members. But whether they should walk out, whether they are losing this debate in the parliament, because BJP says and the government says they need this debate and they want everyone to debate because they want to expose opposition parties that they are against poor Muslims. So whether they should play, in hands of the government, or whether they should put their point forward, and also, as BJP always says that they do fear-mongering when it comes to WAQF properties, whether they should put their point across also for the vote bank or not, this is going to be decided in India bloc meeting. Tomorrow, Rahul Gandhi will be meeting MPs, Lok Sabha MPs in the morning at 9:30. But it is here in the India bloc meeting that the strategy is going to be chalked out. We spoke to a few of the leaders who are going to be participating in this particular meeting. They say we want debate, we wanted 12 hours, but the government said that we will only give you 8 hours because we need to pass this bill tomorrow itself. So they also have a time restriction they need to send this bill to the Rajya Sabha, and the parliament is coming to an end on 4th of April. Before that, they want Rajya Sabha also to pass this particular bill. So they also know that there is time, there is restriction on the time. They don't have much time, but opposition wanted debate on Manipur. President rule has been implemented in Manipur. They wanted that debate, and they wanted debate on epic as well.
Let's also quickly get a word from Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi, for the government, this is a very, very important bill, but we're also seeing several comments coming in from opposition leaders, from Asuddin Owaisi, as well as others who are, of course, threatening that if this bill is passed, then it would have huge consequences. What are these consequences, though? They have not specified.
Well, that's right. We have spoken to several of the opposition leaders. In fact, all of them have to say that there will be consequences. In fact, they have gone to another extent of fear-mongering. We have spoken to the Member of Parliament from the Congress Party, Imran Masood, who went on to say that right now the Muslims are being targeted in the country, and the next will be the people from the Christian community, and later the Hindus' temple will also be targeted, and the BJP will not stop just at targeting the Muslims. So clearly the opposition leaders maintain fear-mongering, maintain the fact that by bringing the WAQF bill, they are going to deteriorate the condition of the Muslims in the country. In fact, they have been calling it as unconstitutional. Whether it is the Congress Party, whether it is the Samajwadi Party or IUML, all of them have been saying that they would oppose the bill, and they have been opposing the bill from day one, and they will do it till the end. And they also have sent a very specific message to the allies of the NDA, like the TDP and the JDU, to rethink about
Stay with us, Sabyasachi as well as Pragya. In fact, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us. We'll keep coming back to you for more updates through the course of this meeting that is taking place even as we speak, of the India bloc leaders, and what really is the strategy that is going to be discussed at these meetings will be very important, because we'll be seeing that play out on the floor of the House tomorrow. Thanks so much, Pragya as well as Sabyasachi, for joining us. Let's quickly take this across to our guest now. With us is Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra, BJP spokesperson. JVC Sriram is a political commentator. Tausif Ahmed Khan, lawyer and political analyst, will join us shortly. We also have Dr. Syed Hafiz, who's a DMK spokesperson. Let me start with you first, though. As far as this controversy is concerned, Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra, you have Asuddin Owaisi, you have Imran Masood, all coming out to talk about what will be the consequences, because they say that this is an extremely emotional issue for us. You've seen the comment of Mr. Owaisi. What's your response?
Madhav, 8-hour time is allotted for the discussion in the parliament. Why they are coming in the media and creating fear-mongering? Why they are creating miscommunication to the public of India? They have to understand 8-hour time, and it may be extended more depending on their demand. They can put all the points during the discussion, during debate in the parliament, and whole country will see live. They should come with the fact, they should come with the document. But they don't want to come with the document. They don't want any discussion to go on in parliament. That is why they are behaving like this. This is a so important bill for them, for us also. For us, any bill passed in parliament is very important. For them, this is much, much more important. Then they should come and discuss it now.
Okay.
Why they are confusing the public? That is my question.
Dr. Syed, why confuse the public? Why make such statements which can be interpreted as fear-mongering when the entire issue is slated for discussion inside the parliament tomorrow?
then I think, Madhav, you should not be holding the show today. You are giving so much coverage for the show. So it becomes a democracy. The dialogue can happen anywhere at any point of time. That is why you have invited us. That is why we have come in. This allegation itself is, in a democracy cannot be considered as something which has weightage. This is
the debate and discussion. One second, let me just clarify that point, Mr. Syed Hafiz. The point is that, yes, certainly debate and discussion can happen at any point of time, but threatening consequences. And what do you mean by saying that there will be consequences, or Mr. Owaisi mean by saying that there will be consequences, or Mr. Imran Masood of the Congress? Because that really, end of the day, if you're going to say that there will be consequences of a legislation, then, that is going to question people's own faith in why we have a parliamentary democracy.
No. You bring in something, there are going to be consequences within the four walls of democracy. That is a consequence. There can be a democratic protest. It can be anything from going to, as my chief minister said, that if at all is being passed in the parliament, will go to the Supreme Court. That is a consequence. So consequences cannot be interpreted like how the BJP wants to interpret. It is a democratic consequence. Coming to this bill is a anti-constitutional bill aimed at appeasing the majority vote bank of the BJP ahead of the Bihar elections. So that is why is it always when Congress stands for the right of the minority, it becomes minority appeasement. When BJP comes up with something which is against the interest of the minority community, which the minority community feels, it is not a majority appeasement. That is where there should be a discussion. Why is it that every reform that the BJP has said is failure? From electoral bond to demonetization, they come up with saying that we want to reform, we want to do something good to the country. But what has happened? It is always landed up in chaos and catastrophe, as we have seen.
Okay.
The biggest problem with this bill is taking the power from the tribunal and handing over it to the collector, who's under the influence of the state government. What empowerment you are going to do? Snatching the right from the tribunal, which has a judge, and then giving it to an officer who is being paid by the
JVC Shriram, what is this going to do? Because we've seen similar sort of bills being passed by Parliament that have caused chaos, or reforms being brought in by the government that have caused chaos in the past, and that's why we are being cautious. Please respond to the DMK spokesperson, JVC.
Well, first and foremost, good evening, Madhav. First and foremost, we need to understand that this particular amendment is an historic amendment. Because we know pretty well that I'm talking about, because I'm personally been involved, the village has been involved, temples have been claimed, which are historic temples, which have been century-old temples, have been claimed by the WAQF board, and there is lawyer, the judge, and the witness. Everybody is one and the same. We can't even go to the courts, and that is all result of what the Congress government under P.V. Narasimha Rao had done. And this is an historic amendment which is coming out. And if they have fear, they need to clearly come out with the points. Point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They do not have anything. They would only want to have minority appeasement vote bank. And that is the reason why they're talking about consequences. They're talking about the kind of fear, all those stuff. What is your problem? Because there was a Javelin Parliamentary Committee. Amendments are voted. And more importantly, in fact, I had a personal meeting with the chairman of the Joint Parliamentary Committee, because I had to personally go and brief him at his residence about the WAQF board activity and how an entire village, 360 acre of a village, had been acquired by the WAQF board, which resulted in people unable to even register or sell their properties. And not only that, even a Sufi mosque, which was built somewhere in 1827 in the same city of Trichy, had also been claimed by the WAQF board. So when I went and spoke to Mr. Jagadambika Paul, it was very clear that we had enough evidence to tell him that we have been the victims of this WAQF board controversy.
Okay, quick response from Dr. Syed Hafiz. Dr. Syed Hafiz, your response.
First it is a lie from the JVC Shriram saying that they cannot go to court. It is absolutely lie. This is the narrative that they're going to set. The existing WAQF law, the WAQF board is under legal scrutiny by the Constitution. You can go to the High Court, you can go to the Supreme Court. First, this narrative has to stop saying that WAQF board cannot, it has limited powers. There is a judicial monitoring. If WAQF board says something today, then there are steps like going to the higher court, from tribunal to High Court to Supreme Court. This is the first lie. I will come in and give 100 points if you give me time. Why it is completely flawed? I said collector is snatching the power from the tribunal. That is our problem. How will collector be fair when the government has an agenda? That is the problem. Give more support, more power to the
JVC,
judiciary.
quick response from you as well, before I go across to Tawseef.
Missionary village properties are not allowed to be sold in missionary village. After 10 days of protest, how did the registrar allow the registrations to happen? Because they knew pretty well this is all happening under the DMK government only. They knew pretty well that what was happening was a flaw, and as a result of which they allowed after 2 weeks the registrations to happen. So the entire WAQF is an opaque body, and this opaque body needs to become transparent, and that is the reason why this amendment is required, and it is a welcome decision for billions of people of India.
Right. Let me bring in Tawseef Ahmed Khan as well. Tawseef Ahmed Khan, the government says that this is a historic decision. It is to undo the wrongs that have been made by previous Congress regimes. And at the end of the day, if you look at the rhetoric coming in from whether it's Mr. Imran Masood, whether it's Mr. Owaisi, there's a very threatening sort of tone as to what will happen if these bills are passed. And that's certainly something that can be best avoided, particularly given that this, he may be perfectly fine in saying that this is an emotional issue, but to really talk about consequences of passing a bill, is that taking it a bit too far? Tawseef.
Madhav, I was also present when Jagdambika Pal, the JPC, was visiting Kolkata, and this is exactly what I told him in the very beginning, that just like how Farm Bill was opposed by the farmer community, and the government forcefully brought the law, and there was protest, and more than 200 innocent lives were lost, and then government was forced to withdraw the law. We are going to see the same situation with WAQF law, because by appointing their own stooge, government is trying to grab the Muslim properties, grab the Muslim land. The BJP government wants to snatch the properties which are meant for the religious and charitable purposes, donated by the Muslims of yesteryear. Now, Mr.
Tawseef, there is a government in West Bengal of the TMC. Where is the land going to be snatched by the state government? Are you telling us that the TMC government there will snatch the land?
No. The BJP government will snatch the land by appointing their own officers.
How will they do it?
Firstly, by appointing retired judicial officers and replacing the current judicial system that we have. As Syed Hafiz was trying to explain, the judges under the tribunal at present are under direct supervision of the High Court, and therefore through the Supreme Court. Now they are going to remove them. They are going to appoint retired judges. They are going to give the judicial power to the collectors who are appointed by the central government. So these are the ways by which, appointing their own people, BJP central government wants to snatch the land belonging for the purpose of...
Let Dr. Kaushal Mishra come in now. Yes.
Madhav, it is not the first time that WAQF bill get amended. It was first came in 1995. Then it amended in 1999 and 1995. It was brought in 55 and amended in 95, and then 2013, and now it is amended. So the past all amended are fine, but this amendment is problematic because it brings the transparency, it brings the gender equality, it is giving the power to revise verification procedure, and third, it limits the power. Because there are 65,000 cases pending in the WAQF board for the property dispute, and at least 25,000 by the Muslim community itself. Why Asaduddin Owaisi is opposing? Because he himself has grabbed 5,000, I think 3,000 crore property of the WAQF. That is the problem. All the politicians who are doing the politics on this vote bank on the basis of minority, and they are trying to snatch the WAQF property. That is the main problem. What is the problem in
just
showing the document?
There's a news coming in. One second, Mr. Mishra. There's a breaking news coming in. We're told that the meeting has begun of the opposition floor leaders inside the parliament, and there you can see they are arriving for that particular meeting. That's N.K. Premachandran of the RSP. We also can see in those visuals Rahul Gandhi is present. Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, who is of course the Congress president, is also present. Representatives of the NCP, SP are also present over there, and they are of course heading for that particular meeting where in fact the floor leaders are going to decide the opposition strategy inside the parliament tomorrow. So that will be interesting to see. Let's quickly listen into those visuals and see what is being spoken by them.
देखिए
एलियस मतलब क्रिमिनल है।
इंडिया की मीटिंग में कितने बोलते थे आगे? इंडिया की मीटिंग में आके कितना बोलते थे और अभी बिल्कुल
उसको ठीक करा दो बेचारा, that's not correct.
All right, so those are the leaders arriving for that particular meeting. In fact, very crucial to see what will be the strategy. But Dr. Syed Hafiz, it's a big reform. It brings equality as far as gender justice is concerned. It is going to have better representation, and the entire sort of objection, whether it is, WAQF by user being removed, so on and so forth, all of that is being done prospectively and not retrospectively. So the government says that there are a lot of safeguards that have also been put in following those JPC meetings.
No, there is in the existing law, there is gender justice already. There is mandatory 2 women, as far as the Tamil Nadu State Waqf Board is concerned. 2 women members are mandated, one from the Shia community and one from the Sunni community. So these are all just a narrative setting. I'm telling you, these are all narrative setting. There is already the Tamil Nadu had a women Waqf Board chairman in the past for 5 continuous years. So what are you all talking? These are not, if there are problems in the Waqf Board, whatever you are saying is creating more problems for the Waqf Board. There are disputes, as you said, there are 25,000 disputes among the Muslim communities, and there are 35 to 40,000 disputes across different communities. What are you going to do by snatching the judicial power and giving it to the collector? Where is the transparency in this? You say
Dr. Syed Hafiz, let me ask you a simple question. May I ask you a simple question? Whether it is Eden Gardens cricket ground, whether it is Parliament, all of these are stated to be Waqf properties. How can that possibly be the case? Isn't that a clear sign of the kind of overreach that the body currently enjoys?
Okay, how do you think that all this would have come under Waqf Board? It goes back to history from 200, 300 years. That is how all this have come under Waqf property.
Yeah, but we certainly cannot have the Parliament of the country or one of our most popular cricketing venues coming under that and claims being made. That's where the problem is, isn't it?
Listen, Madhav, please. Waqf property, if I was a king 200 years back, I will give X part of the land under my jurisdiction, under my kingdom as Waqf property. So naturally, over the time when in the post-independence, when the transfer of power happened, this continues to be a Waqf property. That is how you have to go. Waqf is not 60-year-old. Waqf has a tradition of 1,400 years.
Yeah, so we possibly can't have a parliament being called a Waqf property, sir. That is exactly the problem that I'm talking about. Dr. Kaushik Mishra, quick response.
Just see the hypocrisy. If it comes to the places of worship act, it should be the post-independence day. That should be final. If it comes to the waqf, then it becomes the 100 year and 200 year. Then why not the 1,000 year back? You can see the 500-year-old temple was claimed by waqf. By that time, no Islam was there. See the hypocrisy. You can see the Madhya Pradesh Waqf Board has claimed against ASI on Shah Suja Makarba, Nadir Shah Makarba, Bivi Sahib Masjid, Burhanpur Fort place was claimed, which was under the control of ASI. Waqf claim for that. This is the main hypocrisy. They are doing everything on the basis of minority vote bank, but it is
We'll have to leave it there. We'll have to leave it there. Dr. Kaushik Mishra, I think you referred to a 1,500 temple, Tiruchendur, which is what JVC was also talking about earlier, but we'll have to leave it there. Dr. Kaushik Mishra, JVC Shriram, Tausif Ahmed Khan, Dr. Syed Hafiz, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us.